Hey folks, it's got a really lovely view here just over a patch of bush that's quite dear to my heart. Most of the Australian bushes, to be honest. And I never come here as a visitor because I belong here. I don't observe this bush, I'm part of it. And that's because I'm a hunter. And being a hunter is core to my identity. That's who I am. Not just because I enjoy doing it, but because it feeds me, it nourishes me, it keeps me well emotionally. And to be honest, I have a very strong spiritual connection with it. That's my linkage to this bush and this land. I always get this little worry in the back of my head. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who gets nervous about some of these privileges, or some would argue rights, to be taken away. And we seem to have a real problem with that here in Australia. Because, look, I think we have an undeveloped hunting culture because a lot of the hunting that we do, particularly public land hunting, is still quite new. And we've had some massive interruptions with it. And this is not just through hunting, this is through complex firearm laws and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, why do we as Australian hunters have to consistently put up with discrimination? Well, for me personally, it stops here. I'm never putting up with that shit again. Like, full fucking stop. Because I'm proud to be a hunter. It's just core to who I am. I'm not ashamed of who I am, and nor should you be. But look, being realistic about the world we live in, we have to be proactive in not just defending ourselves as hunters and our pursuits as hunters and the future for hunting for those who come next, the new generations. We have to be active in promoting it because it's wonderful. Hunting's fantastic. For all the reasons I just described before, what it does to me, it does more things to other people that are more broad. We all come to hunting for different reasons, but it enriches our lives. And it has enriched humans' lives since the origin of time. It's probably the oldest human pastime, but not just a pastime, a core part of who we are to live, survive, and thrive. So guys, for me, hunting is not just worth defending, it is worth promoting. The reason I'm arcing up right now and having a bit of a feel about all of this is because, yet again, just another little legal chipaway's coming up in the Victorian Parliament. It's an animal welfare bill, and they're asking for submissions about it right now, and I spent the afternoon writing mine. And I really want to encourage you as hunters, or as people who are interested in one day becoming hunters, or just bush people who do similar pursuits, whether it be fishing, prospecting, or just interactive time spent in the bush, to please consider maybe having a look at this submission too. The reason there's a precedent behind this, a few years ago, the ACT banned hunting with dogs. And I mentioned that to quite a few other hunters and they didn't hear about it. It's because they snuck it through. And a lot of people at the time when I was worried about it said to me, oh, well, you don't have dogs. I don't have dogs, we'll be right. Oh, will we? We'll be right, will we? Because I get that attitude from a lot of people and it does piss me off. I'm going to be straight up about it. But this is a positive video. They always are, and because the future about all of this is positive. The reason why that pisses me off though is because who's there to defend me when they come for my pursuits that don't involve having dogs? I don't own a pistol either. I'm not into sport, handgun target shooting. I don't do that. But I will stand by with anyone who enjoys that sport because who says they shouldn't? Who are they hurting? What's wrong with enjoying pistol shooting? Back to what my original point was, why shouldn't someone hunt with dogs? It's been done since the origin of time. Now, if you've got a few little questions about niggly bits around dog hunting that you might think should be changed, well, there could be a conversation about that, a broader discussion about best practice and things like that. It's already really been done, actually. But the point being is, how you want to hunt, if it's legal, you should have that right. That's what you enjoy. What I'm talking about, particularly in the Victorian context, is hound hunting. This new bill, if it passes through, this animal welfare bill, would really put that at risk. And there's no good reason to. Hound hunters are an essential part of the Victorian high country. And I've actually never had anything to do with it. I've driven past a few trucks, I've shaken hands and had a brief chat with one bloke who was involved. And I've heard them a few systems over hound hunting. And being very effective at that and taking out a lot of deer, which, with apparent exploding deer populations in Victoria, isn't that a good thing? Now, just because I've never had anything to do with it, doesn't mean I won't stand by with every hound hunter in defending your sport, because they won't just come for hound hunters. It's not just the one thing, it's a flow-on effect. And I think next, if not before, will be duck hunting. Because there's been animal rights activists hammering at duck hunters for years in Victoria. But why is it just a Victorian phenomenon? Why is this not a problem overseas? And I think a lot of it does come to the fact that, I mean, go to America, they've got, apart from a very highly developed, massive hunting culture, we know that about America, but they're so well organised and they're so well defended. But also, a lot of average American hunters know that they need to be part of that process. They've had years to educate themselves into this, and they've realised that you must pass it down to next generations, you must be political, you must contribute to the cause. Things like Ducks Unlimited, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, these powerful entities. Now, we have entities too in Australia. They're not perfect. They're organisations. They're human organisations and they have flaws. That's fine. I've heard lots of people spout out enormous vitriol at these organisations, but they weren't willing to do anything themselves to actually help hunting or to help correct that process. So guys, all I'm asking is, and like I've been part of this too. I'm not apathetic, but I thought that maybe the last 8 or 9 years of me having a YouTube channel was my contribution to the cause by demonstrating a positive, not positive slant. This is hunting, this is what I do, and this is what everyone I know who I'm friends with who hunts does as well. That's what I thought was my contribution. It's obviously not enough. But also, we don't just ask for individuals alone, like say, hey, ADA, this is your job. You stick up for us and you do everything for us on the hound hunting in Victoria scene and the problems that are just facing it. Oh really, it's their job, is it? How about you? What are you going to do about it? Guys, I beg you, if you have any concerns around this as well, and you should if you're a hunter, if anyone's involved in hunting in Australia, you should have concerns about this, because it'll eventually topple towards you. Please consider putting 5 minutes towards writing something in that submission. I'm going to put the link just down there below and also in the description, so it's there. The link that I've just described. And as we go down to the bottom of the page there, this is where you can make your submission. Now, look, I've just got myself a little pages document here, which I've put a bit of time into. I'm not saying anyone has to put this much writing into it. Even just one paragraph, a couple of sentences to say that you're involved in hunting and that you're concerned about how this new act, this new legislation might affect your activity. So after filling out all this personal information here, I'm going to choose file and upload my submission. But guys, you might have also seen a video recently by Blood Origins. And I thought that was really good. Wow, there's an international organisation who've got nothing to do with Australian hunting, coming for our aid, drawing international attention to it and sticking up for us. Well, God, I was so pleased to see that. But God, doesn't that mean that we've got some work to do? I think it does. But again, I'm just making this as a positive video because that's us defending ourselves, but next is promoting ourselves. And guys, one thing that's for the last month in the lead up to Christmas here in December, I've had a lot of people who've made the request for venison, but I've also had the chance to offer it to a few people who I thought might enjoy it, and man, doesn't that have an effect? Venison diplomacy. It's extremely powerful in promoting our message because it's a tangible proof of what hunting's about and what it's for. And that's a lot of people who are sitting on the fence, don't necessarily have to be completely pro what we do, but that's a little bit of something to help bring them towards our side and a more human face to it and a more tangible proof of what it's worth. Guys, here's another example. I know a lot of people who, for professional reasons, are a bit quiet about their hunting at work, but and that's understandable. There's been a position in my life where I had to do that work too, but well, did I have to? I'm not sure about that actually, because am I ashamed of hunting? Is hunting anything to be ashamed of? No, it's not. It's wonderful. I've just described at the start of this video what hunting means to me, and I know it means a hell of a lot more to people I'm speaking to. There's nothing to be ashamed of, and if we can avoid adding to that stigma, well then let's avoid that. What's weird about hunting? It still seems to be a uniquely Australian problem because, you know, I go to New Zealand and you tell someone that you're into hunting, it may as well be as like, I'm not denigrating any other activity, but like, oh, you're into cars, you like watching the footy, do a bit of hunting. It's all in the one thing. It's all normalised. Whether people are still in New Zealand might be against or have a problem with hunting, it's normalised. I don't think we're there yet in Australia. So let's, guys, keep actively working towards that goal. It has to, because it is normal. Of course it's normal. And it's natural. And it's beautiful and it's nourishing. And it keeps us going. It keeps us connected with this earth. God, it's been a weird year, and I think that only just heightens some of the problems that the world is facing at the moment. That's fine. Well, it's not fine. It just is what it is. But here's another thing that what is. Earth and land and nature. This is what it is. This is this. And I'm always going to be a part of it. I feel like I've rambled enough, guys, and thanks for sticking with me through this video, but please, I urge you, consider taking 5 minutes, and that's all it will take. It took me a little bit less, but that's fine. To put that submission in there, there'll be the link there below. But also, make 2021 the year that you're actively promoting and being loud and proud about your hunting. Because if you're proud about it, and you enjoy it, and it's part of your life, celebrate it. Folks, I'm so grateful to have had the opportunities that I've got. I'm so grateful to be born in New South Wales and in this time where I can go out into the bush and enjoy these pursuits. To hunt red deer, to hunt sambar deer, to hunt pigs on public land. That's our land. I'm so proud to be a hunter. Not many people say it anymore, but I'm proud to be Australian too. So I'll fight very hard to not just defend it, but to promote it. And I'm going to keep getting my good times natural. I really hope you do too. Take it easy, people.